Liverpool are out of the Jude Bellingham race, apparently, and there was years of Liverpool fans all over YouTube. This is done, guaranteed, yada, yada, yada. No shots fired.
Oh, Henderson and all the Liverpool, Trent was all taking pictures with him in the England camp, being friends and pally. Continue.
And then we see Jurgen Klopp in a press conference before the game. He's asked about it. And the way he did an analogy of a child at Christmas asking for a Ferrari. For me, I don't know about you guys, I found that very patronizing to the Liverpool fans. This is not a Ferrari that a child, can't drive. This is a player that you have been not buying players for and telling your fan base, it's okay, we're getting Jude. This is why we're doing this. You told your fans the whole time that this was the master plan. This is very much a little toy car, not a fucking Ferrari. This is what you guaranteed your kid at Christmas. And now the Liverpool fans, I think that mentally, after watching all the trash football and everything else, they must be feeling rock bottom. The fact that now they all feel pretty stupid because, of all the people to direct the message to them, it's Jurgen Klopp who says, you're being unreasonable expecting Jude Bellingham. It's like, well, what's unreasonable about this?
Because it's a very competitive space to be signing players at that level. And for me, I think Man City will be quietly confident of finding a way of getting him. Like this idea that Real Madrid are going to do it, I don't even see that happening. So if they lose him to Man City, that puts them in again, this is what I'm saying, that transition of power, that puts them in a position where they may not actually see the top four for a minute. Like, they're missing out on top players. It's really hard to find those change-maker players. And actually, this is what I talk about the Man United rebuild. This Liverpool rebuild, they have about 4 or 5 players that are like north of 30 or getting close to north of 30 that they have to try and find a way of replenishing. And it's not looking possible. It's definitely not going to be cheap. And you're not looking at Mateus Nunes at Wolves and all these other players. It's not the answer.
For me, it's a damning indictment on Liverpool's transfer policy when the whole world knew Jude Bellingham was going to cost big bucks. What are you surprised? Wow.
I think they thought they were getting him on a cheap by courting him to the point where it's like there's only one destination and then they could try and get it for like less than 100 million. But now that it's over 120 million, Man City are like, we'll pay him and we'll pay him 400 grand a week. It's a bit like, how do you compete with that? There's no way. And the thing is, Bellingham would love to go to Liverpool. I feel like he wants to go there. I can feel the energy of him wanting to go there and participating in the we'll hang out with the Liverpool players in the changing room. But the reality is, if Pep is calling you and paying you better, why would you not go?
Well, Liverpool have ruled them out of it. They're not even competing. They're not even trying.
But also Champions League football. They don't have no Champions League football, so how can you get a player like Bellingham not in Champions League? I mean,
what happened to Craig's sources, the other Craig? He was sitting here saying, Craig, I love you. But he was sitting here saying he has the nailed-on sources for Bellingham coming.
Fair, I will say for Craig, he did say he wants to go to Liverpool. Klopp wants him. And if Liverpool spend the money, he's theirs. They've just ruled themselves out of it. And I feel like Klopp is now doing that thing that Sir Alex did towards the end of his years at Man United, where he becomes a shield for the ball.
Hierarchy,
Yeah, and that's how the fans end up turning on you. Because you start looking stupid. And that interview that Klopp gave, where he starts comparing Jude Bellingham, a professional footballer for a club like Liverpool, to a child asking for a Ferrari for Christmas. I thought he sounded like an idiot.
They are turning on him, by the way.
They are.
There's Liverpool fans I know, they're saying, I'm not going to tweet it, but...
I love Eddie Howe, but if you speak to us like an idiot like that, how can I keep respecting you?
No, but this was prior. I'm saying prior to those comments. They're on the low saying, I don't know about what's going on right now.
It's also how he conducts himself. Like, I appreciate you have to protect your hierarchy at all costs. You can't come out and start talking about your hierarchy. You'll lose your job. But the fact is that the way that they've actually managed their rebuild, and again, I point to the Cody Gakpo signing, it just felt unnecessary to me. It was the least urgent position that you needed to sign somebody. And again, for me, that's just mismanagement. Because somebody was injured for 2 months, you decided to sign a whole new striker and put him, like, why? And the fact is that I love to look at that midfield, it just gets worse and worse to me. Every time I see Milner, who, by the way, is an incredible professional. I know Jordan Henderson is an incredible person. Everyone talks about how nice they are. But this is what I'm talking about, Man City. They wouldn't tolerate that. That's never a conversation. There is no one in the Man City squad where you're like, yeah, but he's a nice player and he's a nice guy and he's really loyal. Who are you saying that to about Man City? It's like if Cancelo starts being disrespectful, you're on loan at Bayern Munich and then we go and beat you 3-0. Like, come on, man. That's a different mentality and I just feel like they've messed up the ball in a massive, massive way. By the way, I love Liverpool as a city. Please let me come back. I want to hang out.
Okay. What are you saying, John?
For me, it's all about context. Like, when you're looking at them, they are trying to sell the club. It's as simple as that. The board are trying to sell the club. So they have got very clearly a set of budgets that they can commit to. And if they bought him, it would have been that they would have spent their entire budget in one go. And they know that they can't just spend their entire budget on one player. It's as simple as that. Yeah. They need, as we've just said, we need
multiple players,
four, 5 players, and if not 3 midfielders.
The bigger problem is they have no resale value for Firmino or any of their midfield players. So actually, there is probably no money coming in. Yeah. But also, this is where you have to get clever and you got to unearth something, and something's got to come through the academy because the Curtis Jones, all those players, but they've got that defensive midfield. I can't say his name, begins with a B. He looks brilliant to me, but I feel I feel like you got to now develop and come out of a different strategy. Because you can't compete on the level of what Man City has managed to maintain their squad within budget, as much as everybody says.
If you're a Liverpool fan, do you want them to spend 120 million and then not buy any other on Bellingham and not buy any other players? Like, do you actually want to do that? Like, if it was my club, I wouldn't want to buy one player and then not be able to.
I agree.
That never was promised to those fans, and that's the thing that I think is not fair on the Liverpool fans when they've been on a diet, promised to have this big amazing meal. And then all of a sudden,
they're not going to do it until the investment comes. They're not going to do it.
But all I'm saying is that this is not the way it was promised to the Liverpool fans, and I do feel for them. They've been sold a dream, and look, we're now hearing the reframe of it is, but we're going to go and get 2 players for the price of him, and it's going to be even better. But the trust from the Liverpool fans must be at an all-time low for their ability to do that when you've been signing a few flops lately.
We've seen this a few times though, where you go all out for this big player, and then you've got the second choice, and you don't get the second choice. Then you're going for a third choice, and you're like, wow, this is getting really bad. Like they're going like Mount is the second choice, and we've been hearing a lot that
Declan Rice and Mount are 2 players who's been mentioned.
Yeah, and Declan Rice isn't Bellingham.
Liverpool need Caicedo. That's what they need. But Moses Caicedo from Brighton.
Still good, but he's 80 million. So it's like.
But the point is, I know it's expensive. It's expensive. But Liverpool need to invest money now. If you want to compete with Man City and Arsenal, United, you need to spend money now. You need to spend money, and if you don't spend money, you're gonna get left behind.
There's no affordable option. So even the arrogant thinking of like, we're gonna sign 2 players. Who are you signing for 60 million? That's gonna create impact in your team. At the level that they're at, you're talking 80 to 100 million. Rice, Caicedo are all 80 to 100 million. So you're not really trying to sign 2 players. You're just deflecting from the fact that you don't want to spend that much money on one player, and actually you're going to try and rebuild and hodgepodge a few other things. But really, I don't feel that will be enough to even get them in the top 4 next year, because I'm telling you, this top 6 is more competitive than I've ever known it. And sometimes it's just being organised is better than having all these big players.
So why weren't they going to mid-table mediocrity then?
Their midfield is the problem, and that is it.
But that look where they are right now.
If they find an answer for that midfield, even if it's 2 players,
where are they?
Even if it's 2 players, somehow there's a cheap person or a development person that comes in, then they're back in the game in a way that's much more competitive.
You're looking at Darwin Núñez, you're looking at Gakpo, and they could turn up as well. I mean, you can see signs of Gakpo showing it, signs of Darwin Núñez.
Diaz coming back. Diaz coming.
You're not saying this manager's so good. Look where they are, and no one's talking about it enough. What, because of midfield? Come on, man.
Midfield right now.
He's getting away with murder. Let's be real.
But their style of football requires elite midfielders, and their midfielders have dropped off. So I can understand it though.
I'm not saying it won't affect their system. I'm saying 8th is terrible even without that key player that works in their system. That's poor. They've still got one of the best defenders in the world, and he's poor. They've still got the best fullbacks. They're playing poor, unfortunately. They've still got the best keeper, arguably, in the world. They've still got Mo Salah. Like, how are they 8th? And he's getting away with this. Nagelsmann was 1 point off of the top of the Bundesliga, undefeated in the Champions League, and got sacked. This man is 8th. This man is, I don't care, he's 8th, and everyone's just going, he's there patronising the fans, like you just said, Brian. Oh, Ferrari, and no one's batting an eyelid about it.
But the reason why you're giving the benefit of doubt is he's won a league title and a Champions League.
There we go.
I mean, the whole.
But that's what I said. Bayern Munich don't have that sentiment. But Bayern Munich don't care.
Fair enough.
This is what top clubs do.
In the Premier League, the Liverpool aren't going to sack Klopp. You want them to sack Klopp?
They have no.
I'm not saying it. I said this in a previous episode. I'm not saying saying they should sack him. What I'm saying is no one's talking even about the prospect of that being a thing.
There's disasters in the league right now in Tottenham and Chelsea.
No, we got to talk about them within their own club. Forget looking left or right. I'm saying they are 8th. No, I'm saying they are Liverpool. They are one of the biggest clubs in the world, and they are 8th.
No,
they went from challenging for a quadruple to now being 8th.
I agree with you.
In any way, in any other top club, that's beyond unacceptable.
But it's worse at Chelsea.
People get sacked.
It's worse at Chelsea.
Okay.
They are 3 midfielders away from being right back up there. And that's what they need to do. That's what they need to do.
3.
They need to, yeah.
And it has to be the right midfielders.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And so Salah's coming towards the end of his career. He's getting older. Van Dijk's coming towards the end of his career. He's getting older. These guys are like 31 or something.
I'm talking
These are their best players as well.
I'm talking about winning the league next year. I'm talking about get back in the Champions League next year. I think 3 midfielders with their system and how they play, they will be back in the conversation. They will.
So to go from competing for the league year on year against Man City to now fighting to get back in the top 4.
Liverpool neglect signing players for years and years and years, and now you get to this stage where you've not replaced Van Dijk, or you don't have a backup to him, or a successor to him. You don't have a successor to Salah either. That's what happens, and that's why you look at their system, and that's their board has let Klopp down in the long term, in the sense of not signing him the right players to back him up.
It's a stitch in time saves 9, and they're now at a point where they need 9. And also part of the problem that's been quoted for other teams in this is getting rid of players and making money out of players. And I'm looking at their last game, and you're thinking, right, okay, you got no resale value in people like Jordan Henderson. Fabinho's getting on. I don't think anyone wants Jones. And when you look at the bench, I mean, where's the money? Like Firmino, you're not going to get a lot for that. Milner, Joe Gomez he's going to stay there. But I don't see where they're going to generate a lot of money, and you're not in the Champions League. So I guess they have. The one thing I will say about the Bellingham transfer is if you get him, yes, it's a lot of money, but he's 19 years old. Yeah. That is a long term.
15 years of play.
And you can't. I mean, look, is he going to live up to 120 million? I think that's almost impossible for a young kid. But equally, you are going to make the money back in the long term with his performances, what he's going to bring to the table. I feel like this is one of those where you have to accept a loss in them and accept debt to stay in the conversation to keep yourself. But will they? I mean, I don't know if they're going to do that.
I don't think a big name's always a solution. I saw it at Arsenal of all clubs, so we didn't sign big name players.
Yeah.
Ben White was a player at Brighton, no one really knew that much about him.
Newcastle did the same.
There you go. Sometimes it's better to sign those pros and develop them. I mean, Mo Salah wasn't a big name either. They turned him into that star.
The reason why I think you're right, is because if they did it last year before the collapse and they brought in a big player, I think it would have held. But I think that this needs a bit of a refresh in a different way, because you're right, Salah is in decline. I'm not sure about any of the other 4 or 5 forwards that they have of who is the main guy there.
My main worry with Liverpool as well is people aren't fearing for their place in that starting lineup. So Trent and Mo Salah, there's times where, especially Trent obviously, but you're looking at them, they're not playing with players who are frightened of dropping their place. Like Newcastle, for example, right now, one of the things I'm saying is people are performing generally at a high level because they know one bad game and you're out the team. And that comfortable, relaxed attitude. Trent is an example of it. He needs an 18-year-old kid signed immediately in his spot, desperately, just to keep him performing. Does anyone think that Trent should be moved further forward in the team?
I think you find ways to accommodate him because he's so good going forwards. His passing range is up there, I don't know, with De Bruyne and
But this is why I'm talking about, because I remember David Beckham playing right centre midfield, and if you look at Trent's skill set, he's much more like Beckham than he is Gary Neville. He looks to me
Klopp did that against Arsenal when he played against you lot. He's moving Trent. He moved Trent, within the midfield.
Who got them back in the game, and I'm this is the good bit of your game that you get exposed almost weekly.
He needs to find a way to accommodate him. Like at Arsenal, for example, the prime example is Zinchenko. He's not that good defensively, we know that. But Arteta finds ways to have people around and support him. So that's what he needs now.
Under the wrong
and I think with Trent right now, he doesn't have the centre back next to him, isn't elite right now. Like Arsenal have Gabriel helping out, Zinchenko helping, Xhaka helping him out, Martinelli tracking back as well, Salah don't track back. And when you don't track back, you're not helping out. That's where he needs to find a way. I think Klopp has to elevate himself tactically again, evolve as a manager.
There we go. I just feel like not enough emphasis. I'm not saying he should be sacked. You lot are talking about the players individually and needing signings, and I understand all of that, but I don't think enough emphasis is being placed on Jurgen Klopp. We know he's one of the top managers in world football. We know that, right? And yes, even without those missing pieces of the puzzle, a good midfielder, right? he's not getting the best out of these players right now. They're not running for him like they were running before.
If they get a backup right back that is a proper right back and not Joe Gomez, who is a decent player but not a right back from Liverpool, simple as that, it's not that standard, and they get 2 proper centre mids that can actually run and play Klopp's style of football, they'll be back up there.
Wait, you're telling me?
I'm not saying they're going to win the league, but where are Liverpool's... So Liverpool fans think they're going to win the league every year?
No.
Not at all. But I think they want a challenge, as they have been doing. And what I'm saying is I feel like they're falling so far behind that just getting Champions League now is going to have to be the goal.
Are you telling me Jota, Nunes and Gakpo are really them? Are really them.
Diaz is
quality. Diaz is quality.
Yeah, you're forgetting all these players with serious injuries.
Yeah, they have had injuries, definitely. But are they really them? Are they Mane, Salah, Firmino at full tilt? Are they even Sturridge, Suarez and Sterling at full tilt? I don't think so.
A lot of teams. A lot of teams would want players like Jota in the team. 100%.
I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm saying they had Mane, Firmino and Salah at full tilt. They're not even Martinelli, Saka and Jesus, these players. They're not even close.
The disrespect. Like, every big club is in for Nunes. Every big club.
Can I just say, we don't know what they are because we've never actually seen them together on a consistent basis.
Yeah, you're right.
They could turn around and deliver something next year.
They're not them.
And if they came in and scored 90 goals between them, I wouldn't be completely blown out of my mind if that front three of Diaz, Gakpo and Nunes, I wouldn't be blown out of my mind.
Make chances.
So it'd be interesting. But I do think they need 3 players. I don't think they have the ability to bring in the right 3 players. So I think they're in threat of their top 4 and top 6 place because it's a very competitive top 10 right now in the Premier League.
I think it also depends on teams like Chelsea. You know, what manager do you get and do you leave him behind?
Chelsea get a proper manager.
If United do add if it had Harry Kane, I mean, you put United over Liverpool as well. And if Arsenal had some more players, you got them. So yeah, you're right. Liverpool are in danger, and that's where now the owners, if they are going to sell or not going to sell, they have to invest.
They can't sell because there's the amount of money they want, the 4 billion or whatever it is. People said I'd rather go and bid the extra and get Man United.
This is going to be Jurgen Klopp's biggest test.